Today I'm going to show you how to make a bookmark that's about 15 or so inches long and with a little glass bead on the bottom. For this project you'll need 1 skein of embroidery floss. You'll need a crochet hook for this project. I'm going to use a size 0 steel. Do 2 different versions of this bookmark. We're going to do one very similar to this one where I use 1 bead. This bead is about 1/2 inch and it has a nice large hole in the center of it. So we're going to use that, and we're going to use white embroidery floss. To show you a technique where we're going to use 2 beads. We're going to use this round flat bead and a small round bead. This one's clear. And yellow floss. We'll just simply take our paper sleeves off and open our floss up. And I'm going to make my slip knot. Now we're going to just make a chain. We're going to chain several. We don't know quite how many. Each time you do this, this is the part that's different because your bead is going to be different. So we're going to chain. Let's bring our bead over here so we can see it. Alright, I need to make a chain. Okay, we're going to chain there. Let's try this out. What we're going to do is we're going to take the bead and we're going to thread it onto the chain and keep my hook in the stitch there. I will slip stitch under 2 strands of that first chain stitch. Let's see how that feels. That's going to work just fine. Sometimes you'll get to this point and this is too tight and you'll want to come back out and add a few more chains, or it might be way too loose and you've got to pull a few out. So be willing to be flexible with this part of it. Now we're going to use both of the strands so you have not only your beginning tail but your working fiber as well. And we're going to hold them both together, and I want you to chain 1, and then I want you to single crochet in the same stitch where you made the slip stitch, working with both strands. You only end up working with both strands for just a few stitches, but this helps to secure that tail and then you don't have to worry about it later. Alright, now we're going to chain 2. And I think this little bit right here, I'm not going to argue with it. It's going to just do what it's going to do, and I can go back and trim the little fuzz buzzers off later. So I'm going to chain 2. I'm going to turn my work. Now I'm going to make 2 double crochets in that single crochet. Now that chain 2 counts as your first double crochet here and throughout. Alright, there's a double crochet and another double crochet. We're going to chain 2 and we'll turn. We don't make a double crochet in this stitch because that chain 2 counts as the first one. So we will double crochet here in the next stitch, and then we're going to double crochet in the top of that chain 2 from the previous turning. We're going to pause here for just a moment, and I'm going to show you how to do the 2 bead. Right, now our hank is open and we are going to begin this one. It can be a little bit tricky, and sometimes you might want to use a needle to do that. Okay, and we are going to make our beginning chain. And then we're going to thread that onto this clear bead. Okay. Just pull that through so your chain stitches are going through the center of your bead. Then you're going to put your hook back in, and we're going to come around to slip stitch that into a loop with the bead on it. Okay. This time we're just going to chain straight. For several stitches. And if there's too many, I can back them out. But sometimes in order to pull this bead onto your chains here, you need to use a tool. This right here is a little nylon threader. You'll find these at the grocery store in the dental care aisle. They're used for dental floss, so like for kids who have braces. And what we're going to do is utilize that to help us pull this through. Sometimes this works. Sometimes this works really, really good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bead through it so it's kind of looped through. And then this will pull it right through. Ta-da! There. This is now kind of stuck on here. But because of what it is, I can just break this. Now I have my flat bead with my little bead underneath it. And then because I have more chain stitches than what I want, I'm going to pull out until I am 1 or 2 chain stitches above my bead. I can see I'm not going to be able to get my hook into this stitch that's just peeking out of the bead hole. I'm going to want to work in that. So I'm going to need 1 more chain stitch. I pulled out too many. Now I'm going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And I will chain 2 and turn. And then I'll work my 2 double crochets in that single crochet because the chain 2 counts as the first double crochet, and that gives me a total of 3 double crochets. And then I will chain 2 and turn and work a double crochet in the double crochet and in the top of the chain 2. And I'm just going to continue to repeat in this manner what the pattern stitch is. Chain 2 and turn, and then double crochet in the double crochet top of the chain 2 for the turning. Continue to work in that manner. This one, and I've got this one I'm working on. Okay, so we've come near the end of this white one. As we will chain 2 and turn, yarn over, insert our hook under the 2 loops of the next stitch, and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So there's 2 loops on the hook. We will yarn over and insert into the top of that chain 2, which can be a little tricky sometimes, and draw up a loop. Now there's 4 loops. We're going to yarn over and draw through 2 loops, and now there's 3, 1 for each of the represented double crochets. We will yarn over and we will pull through all 3 loops. Then we'll yarn over again and pull the entire tail through. Untangle that, there we go. Pull the entire tail through, and this makes the knot. I'm going to be making a fringe by wrapping the tail around my hand, and it will be approximately this long. So I'm going to cut that like that. To make the tassel, we'll take that leftover floss and I'm just going to wrap it gently around my fingers, like so. Slide it off my fingers. It's going to have to be too exact because we'll trim it up. Then going back to the end, I'll insert my hook right into the body of the stitches at the point right so. And reach through and pull. Don't pull it all the way through. And then I will grab, including that tail right here, just lay it over and pop that. Work it around till it's nice and secure. Now, to clean that, because we don't want that to be all loops right there. So now I'll just take my scissors and snip that. Kind of finger comb that a little bit. And then I will trim the ends. Sometimes I'll do it point in just a little bit. Soften it up a little bit. Brush my crumbs out of the way. And there is our finished, if you want to call it a lanyard. Now we'll do the finish up on the yellow one. So we've come to the end of the yellow bookmark with the red bead. And I really liked the way the tassel on the white one turned out. And I've decided to do it again. This time I made my tassel just a little bit more full. But we're going to apply it in the same way. Insert my crochet hook into the end of the yellow, and I'm going to pull just one end through like that. There we go. It goes through like that. Let's see, and I think I want that to make sure that's all tucked in. So let's get all these little tails going the right way. I'm going to put there. And then we'll just then cut all of the ends like so. Trim the ends so that they're all nice and even. And there we have it.